The huge space station, called a Therion Prime, floated in the black emptiness between stars, like a glowing jewel made by many hands over hundreds of years. The station belonged to no single species. It served as the main meeting place for the Galactic Concord, an alliance of more than 300 different kinds of intelligent beings who had agreed to share rules, trade routes, and peace. Most members came from old, powerful races, with long histories of building empires, exploring galaxies, and fighting big wars. On this day, the Grand Assembly Hall was full of delegates from every corner of known space. Tall beings with feathers watched from high balconies. Slim creatures with many eyes sat in rows of crystal chairs. Huge four-legged figures stood near the back walls because normal seats could not hold their weight. Small floating orbs that carried brains and liquid drifted above the crowd. Everyone waited quietly, because today the humans would speak. Humans were new. Blue planet called Earth, far out on the edge of the galaxy. Their ships had learned to travel faster than light only a short time ago compared to the others. Many in the Concord thought humans were too young, too wild, too quick to fight among themselves. Some called them clever monkeys. Others said they were lucky survivors from a dangerous world, full of storms, diseases, big animals, and ice ages. Still, the humans asked to join as observers. They promised not to ask for land or armies. They offered new ideas, new medicines, new ways to grow food and clean water. Ambassador Elena Voss walked to the center of the hall. She was a woman of middle years with short dark hair and calm gray eyes. She wore a simple gray uniform with the small blue circle of Earth on her shoulder. No jewels, no bright colors, no guards around her. She carried only a thin datapad in her hand. Her voice came through the translators clear and steady. "We come in peace," she said. "We want to learn from you and share what we know. No. Our world is small, but our people work hard. We build fast. We fix problems. We do not seek to rule anyone. We ask only for a seat at the table, so we can listen and talk." The hall stayed quiet after she finished. Some delegates nodded. Others whispered to their aides. A few laughed softly because they thought the words sounded weak. Delegates from the Khazari Dominion, the insect race with hard black shells and sharp mandibles, watched her closely. Their leader clicked his claws together in a slow rhythm. The Vorath Ascendancy, crystals that lived inside glowing geometric bodies, shimmered with faint purple light. The Thalor Empire, reptiles with thick scales and long tails, flicked their tongues, tasting the air. None of them looked friendly. Behind the public words, a secret plan had already started. The Khazari, Vorath, and Thalor feared humans more than they admitted. Earth had too many people growing too fast. Their factories turned out ships, weapons, and machines at speeds no one expected. Their soldiers fought hard, even when hurt. Their scientists found answers to old problems in strange ways. The three old powers decided humans must learn their place before they grew too strong. One quick lesson would show the galaxy that newcomers must bow. Elena Voss stepped back from the speaking platform. She turned to walk toward the side door, where her small team waited. Two human aides, a young man and an older woman, moved to join her. They carried nothing but small bags. The rest of the hall began to talk in low voices about trade deals and border lines. Then it happened. A tiny drone, no bigger than a human fist, dropped from a hidden slot in the high ceiling. It moved fast and silent, its single red eye locked on the ambassador. A thin line of bright plasma shot out. The beam struck Elena Voss straight through the chest. She stopped walking. Her body jerked once. She fell forward onto the smooth white floor. Blood spread quickly under her. Moment. Then sounds of shock filled the air. Gasps, clicks, hisses, and soft cries mixed together. The human aides ran to her side. The young man dropped to his knees and pressed his hands against the wound. The older woman spoke quickly into her wristcom, asking for medical help. No one else moved. No delegate stood up. No security team rushed in. The drone flew back into the ceiling slot and vanished. The Khazari delegate rose from his seat. He was tall for his kind, with extra armor plates on his shoulders. His voice came out calm and flat through the translator. "A security malfunction occurred," he said. "We regret the loss. The matter will be investigated. The application from Earth will be set aside until order returns." No one argued. No one asked questions. The humans lifted Elena Voss carefully. They carried her body out of the hall on a floating stretcher. The blood trail stayed on the floor, like a dark red line across white stone. The doors closed behind them. Outside in the war corridor, the two aides did not cry. They did not shout. They worked fast and quiet. They wrapped the body in a silver emergency blanket. They sent a short coded message back to Earth. The message had only a few words. Incident occurred. Ambassador lost. Returning home. Back in the hall, the meeting continued as if nothing important had happened. Delegates talked about new mining rights and shipping taxes. The Khazari delegate sat down again. His mandibles clicked in what looked like satisfaction. The Vorath crystals pulsed brighter. The Thalor flicked their tails in slow pleasure. They believed the lesson was given. The humans would understand their place. They would stay small and quiet. No one noticed that the human aides had not looked angry or afraid. Their faces stayed calm. Their hands moved with exact care. They left the station without another word. No threats, no demands, no promises of revenge. The station lights stayed bright. The stars outside turned slowly. The galaxy kept spinning on its old path, but something had changed. 300 species had watched one small act. They had seen a human die in silence. They had seen no explosion of rage, no fleet appear at the gates, no voices raised in fury. They thought it meant weakness. They were wrong. Earth received the message in less than 1 hour. The leaders read it. They sat in quiet rooms. They looked at maps of stars. They checked numbers of ships, factories, and people. They spoke in low voices for many hours. Then they began to plan. No one on Etherian Prime knew it yet, but the silence from Earth was not surrender. It was preparation. The galaxy had just started a count that would end in ways no one could guess. One single attack had begun the change, and the change would touch every star. 3 standard months passed after the death of Elena Voss. The Galactic Concord returned to its normal work. Delegates met in smaller rooms. They signed new trade agreements. They argued about mining rights on distant gas giants. They approved new shipping lanes through neutral space. The station Etherion Prime stayed busy with lights, music, food from 100 worlds, and the constant hum of translators. No one spoke much about the human ambassador anymore. The event felt like a small accident already fading into old records. The Khazari delegate, whose name was Klikar Vess, walked taller now. His black shell shone with fresh polish. He met often with the Vorath and Thalor leaders. They shared quiet meals in private chambers. They laughed about how easily the humans had left without a fight. Klikar Vess said the demonstration worked perfectly. The humans learned their place. Other species saw it too. No one would challenge the old powers again. Vorath crystals glowed with soft satisfaction. Their ascension spires on home worlds received extra energy shipments. Thalor reptilian lords ordered new armor for their palace guards. They expanded patrols near the human border just to be safe. They claimed small empty systems that once belonged to no one. The Concord approved the moves without much debate. Everyone agreed the area needed order. Earth sent no messages. No angry words came through official channels. No ships gathered at Sol. No fleets appeared on long-range scans. The human embassy on the frontier relay station stayed empty. The last diplomat left quietly 1 week after the incident. The relay beacon blinked with a simple automated reply. "We are handling internal matters. Please wait for further contact." The silence felt strange at first. Then it felt comforting. The old powers told each other the humans were afraid. They had no stomach for real conflict. Their short lives made them weak. Their emotions made them stupid. One dead envoy was enough to break them. The first sign came. A Vorath mining outpost sat on a small moon in the Perseus Arm. The moon had rich crystal veins that fed the Ascendancy core worlds. Thousands of workers lived there. Huge machines dug day and night. Lights never went out. Ships came and went with full holds. One morning the regular supply convoy arrived. The ships found nothing. No lights, no signals, no movement. The entire facility had gone dark. Scans showed empty corridors, broken equipment, and cold reactors. The moon looked like it had died in one instant. No distress call went out. No explosion scarred the surface. No enemy ships appeared on records. The Vorath sent a rescue team. They landed and searched every level. They found tools left where workers dropped them, food still warm on tables, chairs pushed back as if people stood up fast, then vanished. The team sent pictures back. Home Command ordered deeper scans. Nothing explained it. The whole outpost just stopped existing in a useful way. 2 weeks later, a Khazari battle group disappeared. The group had 40 capital ships plus escorts. They patrolled a quiet sector near old battle lines. Sensors watched them move in formation. Then the feed cut off. All contact ended at the same second. No wreckage floated in space. No radiation lingered. No life signs remained. The empty volume of space showed only a short, strange ripple, like space itself, folded and squeezed. The Khazari High Command stared at blank screens. They asked questions. They received no answers. Panic started small. Whispers moved through the Concord halls. Delegates from smaller species asked what happened. The Big Three said it was technical problems, nothing more. Vorath said their outpost suffered a power failure. Khazari called their loss a navigation error. Thalor stayed quiet, but doubled guards around their worlds. More outposts went silent. A Thalor refueling station vanished. A Vorath research lab on a gas giant moon disappeared. A Khazari supply depot in deep space turned into an empty shell. No patterns showed at first. Then people noticed the lost places all belonged to the three who sat closest during the assembly on the day Voss died. Delegates from neutral species began to worry. They sent careful questions to Earth. The Frontier Relay answered with the same words. "We are auditing the incident. Please stand by." Nothing else came. No explanations, no threats. Just those 7 words repeated every time someone asked. The Khazari sent a formal demand. They wanted full data on human fleet movements. They wanted access to Sol system scans. They received silence. The Vorath tried softer words. They offered to help investigate the losses. Earth did not reply. The Thalor sent warships closer to human space. They found no defenses, no patrols, no mines. The border looked open and quiet. That made them more nervous than any show of force. Rumors grew fast. Traders and starports told stories. They said humans built secret weapons. They said Earth had allies no one knew. Silence meant planning, deep and cold. Old spacers remembered human history. They spoke of ancient wars on Earth where small groups waited years for the right moment, then struck hard and clean. No mercy, no noise, just results. One night on Aetherian Prime, a lone human courier ship appeared without warning. It carried no weapons signature. It broadcast no challenge. It docked at a visitor bay and stayed there. The pilot sent one message to station control. "We deliver a package for the Concord archive." Nothing more. The crew never left the ship. Station security watched, but found no danger. A small drone carried a data crystal to the archive office. Workers opened it. They found only one file. The file held sensor logs from the day of the attack on Voss. It showed the drone launch point. It showed the plasma shot. It showed the Khazari delegates speaking afterward. Every frame carried perfect timestamps and coordinates. Nothing looked edited. The file ended with 4 words. The audit continues. Stand by. Station command. Tried to trace the ship. It had already left. No trail remained. No jump signature lingered. The Concord Council met in secret. They argued for hours. Some wanted to attack Saul. Others said wait and watch. The Khazari pushed for war. The Vorath wanted more information. The Thalor feared what waited in the dark. While they talked, another Khazari outpost went quiet. This time a whole mining world lost power. Cities froze. Life support failed in minutes. Millions lived there. Now sensors showed only cold rock. The High Queen sent a personal message to Earth. She asked for talks. She received the same reply. We are auditing the incident. Please stand by. The galaxy started to feel the weight of silence. It pressed down like deep water. No one knew what came next. No one knew how many moves humans had already made. The old powers had struck first with pride. Now they waited for something they could not see or stop. Traders stopped traveling near Khazari space. Detours. Neutral species pulled ambassadors home. Small alliances formed in quiet corners. Everyone watched Earth. They watched the empty border. They watched the dark sectors where fleets once patrolled. 3 months had passed since one plasma lance ended a life. The galaxy thought it saw weakness. Instead, it stared at patience. Cold, exact patience. The kind that counts every second. The kind that builds answers in silence. The kind that waits until the math finishes. And the math had only started. Earth remained quiet. The stars turned. The Concord kept meeting. The silence grew louder every day. The silence from Earth ended without warning or fanfare. Humanity did not send angry speeches across every channel. They did not gather huge fleets in open view. They did not declare war in loud voices. Instead, they started to remove the tools that let the guilty races fight. It began with small, precise failures. The first target was a Khazari hive ship called Nest Prime 7. It carried the Queen and her High Council through deep space. The ship measured 10 kilometers long and held millions inside its black armored shell. One moment its engines burned bright. The next, every system shut down at the exact same second. Lights failed. Air recyclers stopped. Gravity plates went dark. The Queen suffocated in her sealed chamber along with her guards. No explosion rocked the hull. No enemy fire appeared on sensors. The ship simply died as if someone flipped a master switch across the entire vessel. 3 other hive ships in different sectors suffered the same fate within 1 hour. Died together. Their fleets lost command and drifted helpless. Communications from the Khazari homeworlds screamed for answers. No one could explain how the failures happened at once, with no warning. Vorath ascension spires started to crack next. These tall crystal towers stood on every core world. They channeled energy from stars to feed the ascendancy mines. Tiny machines smaller than dust had lived inside the lattice for years. They waited dormant and patient. Now they woke up. They ate the crystal from within. Microscopic jaws chewed perfect patterns. The towers groaned under their own weight, then split open like glass under pressure. Shards rained down on cities below. Whole spires collapsed in slow motion. Billions watched in horror as their sacred structures turned to glittering ruin. Thalar dreadnoughts met a quieter end. Their massive fusion hearts powered every weapon and shield. One by one the hearts stopped. No meltdown, no blast. Just cold spheres of heavy metal appeared where reactors once burned. Engineers opened panels and found osmium blocks sitting neatly in place. The metal had the same mass and shape as the old cores, but produced no heat, no power. The ships became dark, floating tombs. Crews tried emergency restarts. Nothing worked. The dreadnoughts coasted on momentum until tugs arrived to drag them home. Human ships appeared for the first time. Sleek, ugly vessels, built from plain steel and carbon. They looked like tools, not art. No bright paint, no fancy curves, just function. They jumped into systems without warning. They fired once or twice, then vanished into folded space. They never stayed to fight long battles. They never landed troops. They struck command centers, fuel depots, shipyards, and relay stations, then disappeared before anyone could lock weapons on them. Panic spread through the Concord. Smaller species pulled their ambassadors from Kazari, Vorath, and Thalor stations. They closed borders. They stopped trade. Neutral worlds watched in fear as the old powers crumbled, piece by piece. Delegates on Aetherian Prime argued day and night. Some called for peace talks. Others demanded a grand fleet to crush Saul. The Kazari delegate, whose limbs still ached from earlier sabotage, hissed that humans must pay in blood. The Vorath crystals flickered weakly and asked for time to think. The Thalor lords roared for total war. Earth answered none of the demands. The frontier relay kept sending the same message. We are auditing the incident. Please stand by. No fleets gathered at Saul. No defenses rose in obvious view. The human border stayed open and quiet. That emptiness scared the old powers more than any wall of guns. Inside the fallen empires, things grew worse. Kazari workers turned on their weakened queens. They saw the chance to break free. Small rebellions started in hive tunnels. Vorath subject races who once served the crystals now refused orders. They hid supplies and sabotaged machines. Thalor slave worlds heard rumors of human weapons dropped from Aether. Anonymous ships, simple rifles, grenades, and body armor arrived in unmarked crates. No notes came with them, just tools and a quiet promise of help if needed. Human agents who lived hidden for years woke up fully. Traders who sold spare parts, technicians who fixed station lights, low clerks who filed reports. All of them carried tiny devices linked by quantum threads. They activated sabotage nets planted long before. Anyone who helped kill Voss or approved the act became a target. Power grids failed. Water purifiers broke. Food stores spoiled quietly. Communications went black in key sectors. The failures looked like accidents at first. Then the pattern became clear. Someone had planned every step for decades. A Vorath Elder Crystal managed to send one clear message before its spire fell. It broadcast to every channel. The humans do not fight like us. They do not rage. They calculate. They wait. They erase. We struck once. Now they erase us forever. The words ended in static as the tower cracked apart. The Concord Council called an emergency session. They invited a human representative to speak. No one expected an answer. Yet a small courier ship arrived at Aetherian Prime. It carried no guns, no heavy armor. Just one person. Captain Marcus Reyes stepped out. He wore a plain uniform with no rank marks. He carried only a data slate. He walked to the Grand Chamber floor, alone. Delegates watched in silence. Some hoped for talks. Some feared worse. Reyes looked at the empty spot where Elena Voss once stood. He spoke in clear, simple trade standard. We offered friendship. You answered with death. We spent months counting the exact price of that choice, not in money or ships, but in the strength of your societies. The price is high, and you pay it now. He touched the slate. Holograms filled the chamber. Live feeds showed Kazari hives burning from inside. Vorath worlds collapsing under their own broken spires. Thalor-throned cities turned to smooth glass by fast-moving rocks launched years ago and arriving only now. Every image carried clean data. No emotion, just facts. The audit moves forward, Reyes said. We remove what threatens us. We leave what does not. We offer terms. Disarm the guilty races. Pay damages based on what Elena Voss could have given the galaxy, multiplied many times over. Give humans permanent voice in all decisions about Sol or our friends. The Khazari delegate rose on shaky legs. You think you rule the galaxy now? Reyes looked straight at him. We do not rule, we solve problems. You became a problem. The solution continues until balance returns. He turned and walked away. The holograms stayed on. They looped silently. Delegates stared. No one spoke for a long time. Outside the station, human ships kept working. They hit supply lines. They broke relay chains. They left warnings in empty space. One message floated near every lost outpost. The cost increases daily. Stand by. The old powers tried to fight back. They sent what remained of their fleets. They launched missiles. They activated hidden weapons. Nothing hit a human ship that did not want to be hit. Human vessels danced through fire and vanished. They struck back harder each time. A Thalor world lost its moon base. A Khazari shipyard turned to slag. A Vorath energy collector shut down forever. Species who once mocked humans now begged for mercy. They sent messages through neutral channels. They offered gifts. They promised loyalty. Earth answered with patience. Wait. The terms stand. The audit is not finished. The galaxy felt the change deep in its bones. Old rules broke. New fears grew. One attack on one woman had started it all. Now the response rolled forward like gravity itself. Inevitable. Patient. Exact. And it had only begun to show its full shape. 8 months had passed since the plasma lance took Elena Voss. The galaxy had changed in ways no one predicted. The once proud Khazari hives now burned from the inside. Vorath crystal worlds cracked and fell silent. Thalor throne planets turned into smooth glass under fast-moving impacts. The old coalition that ruled with fear and strength lay broken in pieces. Smaller species watched in shock and hope. They saw the mighty fall, without grand battles, without endless fleets clashing, only quiet, precise removal of power. The Therion Prime still floated bright and busy. Delegates walked its halls with careful steps. They spoke in low voices. They avoided the names, Khazari, Vorath, Thalor, as if saying them might bring more silence, more erasure. The station security doubled, yet no one felt safe. Everyone knew human ships could appear without warning and vanish the same way. Then one ordinary day, a single human vessel arrived. The ship carried the name Elysium Dawn, painted in plain white letters on the hull. Its gray hull. It looked small next to the massive Concorde cruisers. No heavy guns showed, no fighter bays opened, no shields glowed bright. It broadcast a simple request: permission to dock for delivery of terms. No weapons powered, no threat given. Station control hesitated, then allowed it. The ship moved in, slow and steady. Captain Marcus Reyes stepped onto the arrival deck alone. He wore the same plain gray uniform many humans favored. No medals, no bright insignia, just the small blue Earth circle on his shoulder. He carried one thin data slate. His face showed calm lines. A short beard covered his chin. His eyes looked steady and direct. Security scanned him 3 times. They found nothing dangerous. He walked to the grand chamber without hurry. The assembly hall filled fast. Delegates from every species came. Some stood, some sat, some floated. Delegates who once laughed at humans now watched with wide eyes. The Khazari delegate Click Arves sat near the front. His shell looked dull, missing from earlier sabotage. The Vorath Elder Crystal pulsed weak purple light. Its facets showed small cracks. The Thalor Lord hissed softly. His tail stayed still for once. No one spoke loud. No one moved much. Reyes walked to the center floor. He stopped at the exact spot where Elena Voss fell. He looked around the chamber slowly. He spoke in clear, simple trade standard. 8 months ago, you killed our envoy. She came to offer partnership. You answered with murder. We accepted your choice. We spent the time since then doing exact math. We counted every ship, every factory, every world that supports your ability to harm again. The numbers are complete. The cost balances now. He touched the data slate. Light bloomed across the chamber. Huge holograms appeared. Live feeds filled the air. Khazari hive worlds showed internal fires racing through tunnels. Queens lay still in ruined chambers. Vorath core systems collapsed inward. Black holes formed where energy collectors once stood. Thalor throne. Cities glowed red, then cooled to black glass. Relativistic projectiles, launched years before, had arrived on perfect schedule. No warning, no defense, just arrival and end. The images changed to show empty shipyards, cold reactors, broken relays, silent comm arrays. Every lost asset carried clean data, timestamps, coordinates, impact readings. No anger in the display, only facts. Reyes continued, "We do not seek to wipe out your people. We seek to remove the tools you use to strike first. We seek to make sure no one repeats the mistake. The terms are simple. The guilty races disarm completely. No standing fleets, no hidden weapons, no private guards beyond local police. Reparations will equal 10,000 times the lifetime work Elena Voss would have given to galactic knowledge, measured in knowledge units, not money. The Concord will change. Humans gain permanent veto on any decision involving Sol or our allies. No exceptions. Silence filled the hall. Delegates stared at the looping holograms. Some whispered. Some shook. Some looked down. Clickar Vess rose slowly. His remaining claws clicked together. You dare dictate to 300 species. You think one dead envoy gives you this right? Reyes met his gaze. We do not think. We know. You struck first. You chose escalation. We chose solution. The equation now favors us. If you refuse, the cost rises again. We can wait. We are good at waiting. The Vorath Elder Crystal spoke next. Its voice sounded thin and broken. You leave us nothing. No pride. No future. Reyes answered. You leave yourselves nothing when you kill a guest who offers peace. Pride returns when trust returns. Future returns when threats end. The choice stays yours. The Thalor Lord slammed his tail on the floor. We will fight. We have hidden forces. We will burn your worlds. Reyes smiled, small and thin. Go ahead. Try. We already know where those forces hide. We already marked them. The next phase waits only for your word. If you want more glass, more silence, more empty, hives, speak now. If you want to stop, speak the terms. No one answered right away. The holograms kept showing destruction. Delegates from neutral species looked at each other. Some nodded slowly. They saw the pattern. Humans did not conquer. They corrected. They fixed imbalances with cold logic. One delegate from a small avian race stood. She spoke soft. We accept the terms for our people. We want peace. More voices joined. Neutral worlds one by one said yes. They saw survival in agreement. The big three stayed quiet longer. Clickar Vess hissed low. We need time. Reyes nodded. Time given. 1 standard week. After that, the audit adds interest. Every day raises the price. He turned off the slate. The holograms faded. The chamber lights felt brighter somehow. Reyes walked back toward the door. No one stopped him. No one spoke loud. He left the same way he came. Alone. Calm. Outside, the Elysium dawn waited. Engines stayed cold. It did not hurry away. Station sensors watched it sit quiet like a patient hunter. The ship sent one last message to every Concord channel. The terms stand. 1 week. Decide wisely. Inside the station, chaos started. Delegates ran to private rooms. They called homeworlds. They argued. They begged. The Khazari tried to rally old allies. Few answered. The Vorath crystals dimmed further. Their minds fractured. The Thalor Lords roared, but their voices sounded hollow. Across the galaxy, subject races heard the news. They rose in quiet ways. They took control of factories. They locked armories. They waited for human help that came in small crates. Simple weapons, dropped from stealth pods. No flags, no names, just tools. 1 week passed slow. Every day, another outpost went dark. Another relay failed. Another commander vanished. The pressure built steady. No grand attack, no noise, just more erasure. On the last day, the Khazari delegate sent acceptance. His voice sounded tired. We agree to terms. Disarmament starts now. Reparations will follow. Vorath and Thalor followed soon after. Their messages came short and plain. Agreement given. Reyes received the words on his ship. He read them. He sent one reply back. Accepted. The audit closes. Balance restored. The Elysium dawn jumped away. No celebration, no parade, just departure. The galaxy breathed again. Old powers stepped back. New voices rose. Humans did not sit on thrones. They sat at the table, with veto power, with memory, with the quiet promise that some debts never fade. One single attack had led here. One death had rewritten rules. One envoy had changed everything. And the change stayed permanent. The agreement came fast after the week ended. The Khazari signed first. Their remaining queens spoke through damaged channels. They promised to scrap every warship. They agreed to melt down hidden weapon caches. They opened hive records for human inspectors. The Vorath crystals followed. Their elder minds flickered low as they accepted disarmament. They shut down ascension spires. They handed over energy tech blueprints. The Thaler lords came last. Their voices sounded rough and tired. They grounded dreadnoughts. They pulled troops from border worlds. They let neutral observers watch every step. Etherian Prime changed overnight. The Grand Chamber got new rules. No more private meetings for the old three. Delegates from small species spoke louder. They suggested ideas. They asked questions. They got answers. The human veto became real. Captain Marcus Reyes stayed on station as first permanent representative. He sat at the main table. He listened more than he talked. When votes came close, he raised one hand. That hand stopped laws, stopped treaties, stopped wars before they started. Reparations started slow but steady. Ships carried rare metals, new medicines, clean energy designs from Earth to damaged worlds. Khazari hives received air filters and food printers. Vorath worlds got repair nanites. Thalor cities took building plans for strong, safe homes. The payments came not as punishment, but as math. Elena Voss worked on xeno studies for 30 years. Her papers helped cure diseases on 10 worlds. Her ideas improved trade for 50. The Concord multiplied that value by 10,000. The number grew huge, but humans said it fit the scale of loss. Subject races inside the fallen empires woke up. They no longer feared queens or crystals or lords. Anonymous crates kept arriving. Small arms training vids, simple radios, medical kits. The people used them. They took control of factories. They ran their own mines. They built local councils. No human troops landed. No flags waved. Yet freedom spread quiet. And, sure, traders returned to old routes. They carried new stories. Every starport bar told the same tale. Never strike the first blow against a human. One plasma shot changed everything. One dead envoy rewrote power across 1 trillion stars. Species who once ignored Earth now sent gifts. They offered alliances. They asked for teachers. They wanted to learn how humans thought, how they planned, how they waited. Earth stayed busy. Factories ran day and night. Ships grew stronger, but not bigger. Scientists shared openly. Diplomats traveled wide. Humans did not build empires. They built connections. They traded tech for trust. They gave knowledge for peace. The galaxy noticed. Humans expanded slow. They settled empty moons. They mined quiet belts. They helped neighbors without asking for land. New sayings appeared in every language. Do the math like a human, wait like a human, pay like a human. The words carried warning and respect. Spacers checked sensors twice before crossing Sol space. Honest reports near human stations. Pirates learned fast. Human patrols did not chase. They waited, then struck once, clean and final. No survivors, no mercy, just another empty volume of space. Years passed. The Concorde became the Stellar Compact. The name felt fresh and fair. More species joined. They came willingly. They signed the charter. They accepted the veto. They knew the price of breaking trust. The old chamber on Etherion Prime got one new plaque. A simple metal plate, set in white stone. It read, Elena Voss, First Envoy, Peace Offered, Death Given, Balance Restored. No dates, no titles, just truth. Reyes retired after 10 years. A new representative took his place, then another. Humans rotated the post. They kept faces fresh. They kept minds sharp. Delegates learned human names. They learned human ways. They learned humans forgave slow, but never forgot. One day a young Khazari worker visited the plaque. She touched the metal. She looked at the words. Her mandibles clicked soft. Companion, a human guide. She asked, why no revenge? Why no conquest? The guide smiled small. We do not need conquest. We need safety. One attack taught us the galaxy listens better to silence than screams. We gave silence. We gave math. The galaxy listened. The worker nodded. She walked away thinking. The stars kept turning. Trade ships moved steady. Research stations hummed. Exploration probes flew far. New worlds opened. New friends met. Old enemies became careful neighbors. Children in schools across species learned the story. Teachers told it plain. A human came in peace. A drone killed her. The galaxy waited for rage. Instead, it got patience. It got plans. It got erasure. Then it got terms. The children listened wide-eyed. They asked questions. Why did humans wait so long? Why did they not fight loud? The teachers answered. Because humans see time as a tool. They use it like steel. They shape it. They sharpen it. When the moment comes, the strike lands perfect. The galaxy grew calmer. Borders settled. Disputes ended fast. Mediators called humans first. Humans listened. Humans suggested. Humans fixed. The veto stayed quiet. Most days it slept. Yet everyone knew it waited ready. Trillions lived under new rules. They worked. They traded. They explored. They dreamed. No one ruled alone. No one feared alone. The balance held steady, built on one death, one silence, one equation. Traders in far ports still whispered the axiom, never strike the first blow against a human. The words traveled on every ship, on every signal. They reminded everyone, some debts come due in fire, some in quiet, some in math that never lies. One single attack on one envoy had started it all. One moment of pride had ended old power. One act of arrogance had birthed new order. Humanity did not conquer the stars. They did not need to. They simply showed the galaxy what happens when patience meets precision, when forgiveness waits behind calculation, when a single death costs more than empires can pay. Galaxy shifted forever, not with trumpets, not with armies, not with noise. It shifted with silence. It shifted with waiting. It shifted with one woman who died calm, and with the people who answered calm. The stars kept burning. The ships kept flying. The story kept spreading, and no one ever forgot.